So I was compelled, I would never do this normally, but I was really compelled to make a short presentation on an experience I had recently at Gatwick Airport. An experience so bad that it made me actually do a presentation, take time out from my busy day to make this presentation. It was truly terrible. And the presentation is called They Do What They Want, because this is when check-in staff at an airport, at a world-class airport like Gatwick, make up the rules, treat you as a second-class citizen, even though you pay the same fare as everybody else, act with impunity like nothing is going to affect them. They do this all the time, and there's nothing you can do about it. Well, the trip started so well. It was a beautiful Friday morning. I was at the airport in good time with my dad, who's in his 70s, expecting a very pleasant check-in experience. How wrong was I? The trip was a very short hop from London to Scandinavia. It wasn't going to take more than an hour and a half. The airport looked quite busy, understandably, so I wasn't really in a rush. I was there in good time. I didn't really expect any issues until I reached the check-in desk, and boy oh boy did it all kick off. So because the trip was a very short trip, only for a couple of days, me and my dad had one small cabin bag each, both of them less than 5 kilograms, really tiny. And the first thing the girl at the check-in desk, I think she was possibly a mixed race girl with kind of curly hair. She said, you'll need to check in the bags. You're not allowed rollers. I have no idea to this day what rollers are. I said, okay, cool. This is what I said. I said, okay, a bit unusual. I normally never paid for one piece of cabin luggage, which is true, because I usually, wherever you check in into the cargo, you pay for, and wherever you have in your hand into the cabin, usually it's complimentary, which is the experience of most people. And I'm saying this as I lift the first bag into the conveyor belt, meaning that I am complying. I'm not refusing to comply with what she said. For some reason, this statement really got under her skin. It really wound up. I have no idea why. And she said, now you'll have to pay £25 for one of the bags, meaning the other bag is free. She said, slightly annoyed, not furious, but slightly annoyed. And I thought to myself, okay, hang on a minute. Why? Because a minute ago, you said the bags, you're going to check in the bags for us for free. And she then said, oh, well, you should read the terms and conditions of your ticket, which is right, because I didn't really notice the terms and conditions said you had to pay for the bag. Fair enough, that's fine. But that wasn't my point. My point was, a minute ago you said you weren't going to charge us, but now you've changed your mind. What is up with that? And she actually admitted it. She said, yes, I did, but you're being rude. Meaning that because you're being rude, because I don't like you, because I don't like the way you talk, because I don't like the ground you stand on, I'm going to charge you whatever I like to charge you. And of course, this slide is called She Does What She Likes, because she truly does what she likes. There you go. There you can see I took this picture because I have every right to know who is doing this to me, because I had no confidence she was going to give me her name. There you go, she's shoved the card reading machine in my face. There's £25 on there, or wherever it was it £50? Well, it was soon going to become £50. And I said to her, just trying to explain myself and trying to de-escalate, I said, I just made a comment that I normally never paid for cabin luggage, which is true. I have never paid for cabin. It's a new rule maybe. Fair enough, but this is all I said. I'm just talking about my previous experience traveling. But now she was furious. She was livid. Her face was red. She was moving around like almost shaking with anger for some reason. No idea why. Did she have a bad morning? But even if she has a bad morning, she should be a professional. Should not be taking it out on customers that pay your wages. And now she said, fine, you are paying £50 now, she said as she whipped back the credit card machine from my grasp to enter the new figure. So I've gone from free to £25 to £50 in about a couple of minutes. She does what she likes. So by now I'm just flabbergasted. I have no idea what's going on. I said, I understand if there's a charge. I don't have a problem if there's a charge. I've never had a problem if there's a charge. But you're making up the price as you go along. That is my issue, which is unacceptable. Which is, how can you make up the price as you go along? What's she going to do to the next customer after me? She's going to charge him, what, 50p? And the one after that, £100? God knows. I said, can I please see a manager? Which is what everybody in my position would say, to see if I can get more sense out of someone else. And now she just lost it. She said, almost shouting now, there's no manager here. I do this all the time, meaning that she does what she's doing to me all the time. Because at this one I said, you know, even if I pay, I'm going to ask for a chargeback. And she said, oh, no problem, you can do what you want because I do this all the time. I mean, I really feel almost sick thinking that she could be doing this to somebody who's elderly, who's traveling by themselves, who maybe doesn't speak English properly. I mean, this is almost just, it would crush them. It would ruin their trip. And now she played her trump card, which is you'll miss your flight, meaning that she, like, if I don't pay the money now quickly, I'll miss my flight, meaning basically she's blackmailing me. She's saying that, okay, you pay or you're going to miss your flight because I own the airline. I hold the key to the flight. And now she was so angry. She was like, step aside. Get out of my queue. Step aside. She didn't say get out of my queue, but she said step aside. I personally have never seen anything like this. Not even on TV shows like Airport where people are fighting. Usually it's the customers that are kind of reaching this level of anger and shouting. It's never the staff. The staff are meant to be the ones who are professional. She knew my flight was departing soon. And she was almost blackmailing me, saying that, okay, if you don't pay, you're going to miss your flight. As in, I'm going to make you miss your flight. Needless hostility. I have no idea why she was so pissed off. Denied to speak to the manager. She didn't even give me like the complaints procedure. If there's no manager, fair enough. But then you give the customer a number or a contact or something so that they can escalate their complaint. None of that happened with me. So unprofessional. The rudeness was just off the scale. Zero attempt to de-escalate. I mean, literally zero attempt to de-escalate. And by the way, shame on you, the colleague that was sitting next to this girl who, instead of de-escalating, she was a middle-aged woman who should have known better, you know, probably has got a lot more experience than this girl, should have attempted to de-escalate. Shame on you. All she said was, excuse me, sir, can you just step out of the line? You hold it up the queue. Absolutely disgraceful. Shame on you. Guess what? The bag she was saying was, initially she said the bag was too big. When I said, what do you mean by rollers are not allowed? She said they were too big. And guess what? This is one of the bags. I think this is my dad's bag. I've checked it on that little tool in the airports that tells you if the bag is cabin size. There was nothing wrong with it. Absolutely nothing wrong with it. It fitted perfectly. So the bag wasn't too big. And guess what? On the return to London, I paid nothing on the return flight. I took both bags onto the flight, the same airline. I complained to Norwegian Air and basically I contacted them on Twitter and I said, how long will the complaint take? Because I never received any acknowledgement or nothing, no reply. And this is the shameful answer that Norwegian Air gave. Fortunately, we have a lot of cases at the moment. So the handling time, longer than, there's some mistake there. The handling time is basically longer. Once your case is being handled, you'll receive a reply by email. Now, last time I checked, you meant to give some sort of a time scale of how long the customer should get a reply, and definitely some acknowledgement that their complaint has been received. So they haven't really covered themselves in glory either. So what should you do if this happens to you? So the first thing is follow the usual procedures. Try and speak to a manager, complain, ask for a refund, usual channels. Consider a chargeback. So a chargeback is basically when you contact your bank and you dispute a particular transaction. That could be an option further down the line. Take pictures of the offending person. Video is even better. Transaction details, screenshots, voice recordings. Gather as much evidence as you can. If you get nowhere after doing all this, contact me with this evidence, and I'm going to make sure that they are held to account. And this goes to Norwegian Air and Gatwick staff. Treat all customers equally. So we all pay the same fare, apart from those people in first class, but most of us pay the same fare, so we should expect the same treatment. Train your staff to be respectful. you're not going to get away with this. You're not going to get away with treating people like this. People have got mobile phones. They can film. They can take pictures. It's really going to come back and bite you like it's bitten you here in this video. Acknowledge, and this goes to Norwegian Air. This is pathetic, that the fact that you're saying that we don't know how long it's going to take, your complaint is going to take, and you're not sending acknowledgements. You've got to acknowledge complaints and give a time scale. Even if it is like a month, just tell the person roughly how long their complaint is going to take. This is just normal procedure for every industry. Poor service and injustice cannot hide in 2022. So watch out. And by the way, I still never got my £50 back. And I will not take down this video until I get my £50 back, I get an apology, and I get a written commitment from the airline that all the points I've made in this slide are actioned and they're doing something about it. Until I get a written confirmation of that, this video will stay up here for good.